Hey, welcome back to Defending Utah Radio. We're going to be talking about the increasing militarization of police. But before we do that, hey, we're back. Look at this. It's been a while, and we did not give up. We did not go away. I got a phone call the other day saying, I think you were shadow banned. And I was like, no, we just had some things going on where we didn't publish some new things. We've been recording a lot, actually, and people will be seeing that. So you want to make sure that you're subscribing to our emails to make sure you're going to know about that, because it's not going to be right here on the YouTube channel. So you want to make sure that you subscribe to our email list. Also, we want to make sure that you also go to defendingutah.org and click on the membership tab and become a member today. And this is your first time listening or viewing. I am Ben McClintock from defendingutah.org. I am joined right here in studio with Micah Turner
from the depths of hell.
Well, I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people might agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and just to quell any rumors out there, no, we didn't die from the vaccine. We didn't get.
Well, and that's the thing, is we actually are interviewing some medical professionals that are telling us that people that didn't get it are having the side effects of other people around them getting the vaccine. But that is not the subject. Today we're talking about the militarization of Utah's police. And we talk a lot about the constitutional sheriffs, but in this case, in one of the most conservative counties in the state, we have a very militarized police from a department that does not care about the Constitution.
No.
They, on their own Facebook page, they are showing their Hell Week of their their training of new SWAT team recruits. So any other kind of setup you want to do before we get started in the video?
Me and this Spencer Cannon character,
the star of the show,
have had run-ins twice before. Once over the phone for an entire hour, if you can believe that. And another.
Can't believe he just hang up on you.
Yeah, I know.
We'll give him that.
And we'll give him that. He's a really good conspirator. He's really good at making you think he gives a crap about what you say. He is legitimately pretty good at that. It's like talking to like on a sheriff level. It's like talking to like Hughes or something. Yeah. And so and then again at the Cromar event, if any of you can recall that. Last year.
Sorry, on the YouTube channel, go back and check it out.
And I managed to eke some things into the TV.
That was awesome. You actually made the news. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
So Spencer Cannon.
Oh, as great as such a thing can be, I suppose.
True. Anything else?
Right. So let's see what these buttholes are. I'm sorry, these law enforcement officers are doing in your government churches, schools.
The junior high, you'll see bad guys, good guys, and victims.
And it freezes.
You better do what I say or you die. Do what I say or you die.
This is a training exercise in the government school.
Yeah, so that guy there, he's the antagonist. He's the play school terrorist for the day kind of guy. And so basically they're doing what we kind of missed because the thing was lame, is they're doing an active shooter drill. And let's just look at how this is crazy.
You want to continue on right now? Anything else you want to?
How they do that. Let's just let it speak for itself and we'll comment later.
So that's the timestamp on there. But what I think is interesting is, so as a former military, Micah, it's kind of interesting that they're wearing camouflage because that's necessary inside of the school building.
Well, what else are you going to wear with pockets and flexibility like that?
You can't make them a different color. They only come in camouflage.
Yeah. I'm not really too concerned about that.
Well, but I think it's a psychological thing of the militarization of the police, because they're building a police state. They have this merger of the two. Like, the founding fathers wanted to make sure that we didn't have a standing army, but they're turning our police into a standing army.
Everything they are wearing and using, all the gear, is 100% military.
Yeah.
They have that. I mean, that guy's even got, like a very hardcore optic. I think that guy on the right, his optic looks really weird. It might be actually like an infrared, but they've got BFAs. I have no idea what that stands for, but that's what goes on front of the weapon. So they're actually firing blanks in the school. They need those for firing blanks, so the weapons.
Can you imagine if they remember if you heard about this? You were probably, if you were even born yet, when they filmed the first Crow movie. That's how Bruce Lee's kid died. The star of Crow was because of the Crow. Because they were using blanks during the movie, and they weren't blanks; they were real. And so, what if they accidentally used real bullets in this training exercise? That would be
well, that's why you're supposed to mark all your magazines and stuff, which they have. But which is also, this is totally, anyway, so they're wearing body armor, they've got military weapons and stuff, and frankly, I would expect a SWAT team to do that. But I think what's really shocking about this is the way that they're treating the kids and the faculty, and then the other propaganda stuff that they're releasing, which we're going to go over, where they're not doing this active shooter drill, but they're doing their Hell Week, and just how they're marketing it is really, I think, what that really speaks to. If someone's going to rescue me from some guy who's trying to go rampant around my building and kill me, this is what I would like to see come in, but much better than these guys. These guys are actually really bad. They got these, but they're doing crazy stuff. Like, they got these girls here, and they're just pointing their guns at them. And just, you'll see. Just
which is crazy.
Play. Let's press play some more. Yeah.
Ed, move to the other side of the class of the library. You in the back, hold tight. Not yet.
If you want to come here, you can.
Headshot, bang, bang.
So they allegedly killed the guy, but they're still pointing. And later on in the video, you can see they just still keep pointing their guns at the kids. It's totally
go
bizarre.
To that next.
Yeah, go to 1140, 1210.
Okay, these two tables, you're going to go up, you're going to go right behind this bookcase. Up and right behind this bookcase, hands on your head.
So they've neutralized all the bad guys.
You give a little, I give a little. What do you want?
In their scenario. Yeah, what are they doing?
Let's make it 2.
They're just treating everyone like they're trying to kill them.
From the back, from the 2 center pillars to this side. You're going to move to the other side. Stay there with your hands on your head. Do it now.
So everyone's a suspect. And it's just like, look, you know what? Clearly some grown men were shooting people in your scenario, not these like little scared kids who would be very scared. This scenario is pretty ridiculous anyway, like the way they do it.
Right. This is just like Columbine, because Columbine is going to happen again in Utah.
Gosh, maybe at this point.
You never know. Isn't that what Spencer Cannon's going to say in a second? But
yeah,
we'll go ahead and play that.
Something like that.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to switch mode here. Thanks all for sticking around and watching this. I notice there's some people that think that this is questionable activity. I understand that. It is loud. It is harsh.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't want to say realistic. You'd have to ask somebody who has experienced this in real life how realistic it is. But it's loud and it's noisy and it can be obnoxious. And for some, it is scary.
So part of this is like, this is romanticizing what the cops do, is really what this is speaking. This is what this operation, like psychologically, this is how it speaks to a lot of people and a lot of the kids. They watch all these stupid movies and they think all this stuff is cool. And then it comes to your school and then this happens, and like they're trying to make these people into idols.
Mm.
And that's really what it does. And you don't have to look very far. I mean, just find one of those stupid flags with a blue stripe on it.
Right.
You know,
a don't tread on me sign right next to it.
Yeah.
So ironic.
It's like they're romanticizing the evil that these people are perpetrating and defining them as heroes, when almost everything they do is just straight up evil.
But Micah, you just said yourself that you would, if this was the scenario, you would want this type of a response.
If someone's going to rescue me, this is what I want. But this is not the point of them actually doing it. The training,
they mix the two together to get you to support it, because you're like, oh yeah, that's a necessary thing.
Yeah.
But then what it's actually doing is getting you used to the militarization of police.
If it was just about the training, then they would have not kids there. They would have somebody running the show a lot better.
And it wouldn't be in camouflage.
And you'd probably have some paid actors, and it wouldn't be a publicized event. Because you don't even want the way they talk about this all the time. It's like
we don't want people. We don't want the enemy to know operational procedures.
Yeah,
that's what they always say.
Like when I was watching some court stuff with like Pastor Anderson of Arizona, when he was like, "No, you're not searching me at this random checkpoint that you don't get to do because you feel like it. I have the right to freely travel, and you don't get to just like search my car because you feel like it." So what do? They hate him. So they just like bring up a dog, and they go, "Oh yeah, dog totally sniffed something," and then they break all of his windows, and they like break his face. And he ended up suing him and winning somehow. But in the court case, his attorney says, we need to know the operational procedure for how they handle their drug dogs. And the police are like, they go, "Oh, we can't tell you that. That's confidential information. That's a security breach. We can't let you know exactly what you're saying, our training or whatever. That's all
operational security.
Operational security."
Yeah.
Yet here we are
broadcasting on freaking Facebook.
On Facebook, and there was news cameras there too. I don't think we saw those segments. They got news cameras with, these are like really expensive cameras, just seeing everything they're doing in probably 4K, and but when it comes to this, well, we can break all those procedures. So what's really going on here? This is just propaganda. This has nothing to do with an active shooter drill. That's a bunch of baloney. It's just crap. So maybe we should look at their running footage, I guess. I don't know. Or do you want to? There might be some more. I think there's some more stuff he says.
No, let's just go to that. What you're talking about? Which one was that?
No, that one that you shared.
Yeah.
Of them. I think that lunch. Right there, this lunch thing and everything.
Okay. Yep. I'll go back and share this.
And this is like, I would like to say this is straight up military crap, but this is like really a cluster. Like this is, you're just never gonna find like a Marine Corps unit.
This is like
like a Marine Corps infantry unit. You're never gonna find us running. Maybe when I was part of that tyrannical organization, running around like this.
Maybe it's the Venezuelan
Venezuelan training. I'm in really bad shape right now. Comparatively, I'm pretty sure I can keep up with everything they're doing.
That's not even the point. Right here,
there's some real fat guys.
They're training the police to see the people as the enemy.
Yeah,
they're training them to say that you are the enemy. It's like they're training the police to feel like that when they're out, protecting and serving, that they're actually seeing you as if you were an enemy combatant.
And I could even illustrate that on that ticket I got like 2 months ago or whatever. So I get this ticket from this awful female cop, and I'm just mad as hell. So I'm like, "I'm not going to give you my license. You already have everything you need to know about me." And she's like, "No, I don't." I'm like, "Yeah, you already know my name before you even pulled me over, because you're an automatic license plate reader that's violating the Fourth Amendment as many times a second as it possibly can." And
it's just it's not even a misdemeanor. It's what is infraction. So it's not even like, who cares?
Well, that kind of changed. I got anyway. She gave me a ticket for speeding and not identifying myself. which I got that one thrown out by the prosecutor, so it didn't even go to court. So I just paid a speeding ticket, right? In the end, okay.
Right.
I guess there's your happy ending where I had $235 stolen from me. Anyway,
if you don't want to pay the crime, don't do the time.
So here's the thing. They gave me this.
If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So they give me this ticket, and oh yeah, by the way, she of course mentions that driving's a privilege, and I said my response was, so I don't have the right to travel and use my own property on public ways. And she was like, no, I didn't say that. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what you said. Anyway, so after they give me their bullcrap ticket with all the smiling cops coming up, hey, we're gonna give me this thing. Like literally they did that. I get out of my van.
Good luck fighting that in court.
I walk back. Yeah, that's what they said. Good luck fighting that in court. Of course, that's what they said. They think they got this like sense of justice or something. They think they're like so cool. I've had so many cops tell me that. Let me tell you, every time they've told that to me, I've had no problems. I've like just sailed through whatever and done the bare minimum that anyone else ever would. Anyway, so I get out of my van, they give me the ticket, and there's like, I'm making a problem for them, I guess. So they have like 6 cop cars behind me for one guy, you know, because they're so brave. So I get out of my van, and immediately this horrible woman goes, get back in your car. And I said, the traffic stop is over. I have the right to travel. Because she can't comprehend that, right? And then she shuts up. And so I walk up and like, what are you giving me this ticket for? Of like, this no license thing. It doesn't even matter. And apparently I was mistaken with some vain imagination, but I got out of it anyway. And I said something that didn't matter. Anyway, but while I'm there, this woman, oh yeah, the first cop that gave me the ticket, she got all frustrated and got in her car and just drove away. By the way, and three cop cars went with her. So there's only 3 left. And there's this other horrible woman. No. The second horrible woman left first. Okay. There's still this horrible woman was there.
Okay. You have several horrible women you're dealing with.
There's so many horrible women.
You're such a misogynist. I can't believe it.
And horrible men too. But man, they're just extra nasty. Something about it. Anyway, so
just tell us why you hate women so much.
So I've got my hands in my pockets.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm surprised you're not dead right now.
Yeah, and this is actually very important. I took a long time to get to this. I'm sorry, because it was kind of humorous. So the story, right? I got my hands in my pockets, and this terrible woman goes, "Can you please take your hand out of your pockets
so you can kill me?"
And I say, "What are you worried about? You have all these people here. You have all the body armor and all the guns." And that shuts her up. And then two of the male cops laugh. Like, he's right. We do have all the power here. Like, thanks. But here's what's important about that. So in the Marine Corps, one of the trainings that was a constant thing was have a plan to kill everyone you meet. And it wasn't implied, it was expressed, and it was always talked about, and that was an attitude you're to maintain all the time. That is the exact same attitude that woman displayed when I went to talk to her and her radical cronies. That's the attitude they have. That is how they're being trained.
And if you have a question about that, not just beyond what he just described to you, we have an article where we interviewed one of the police officers down in Enoch, Utah, as well as former sheriff's deputy Bo Babka, and they both confirmed that the police are trained in this way to see you as the enemy, just especially if you bring up something insane like the Constitution, you are the enemy. And that is not just us saying that, that is current and former officers saying that is in their training.
Yeah. And that's just one small example of it being exhibited. Because you wouldn't, if you didn't have a plan to kill me, you wouldn't be concerned about where my hands are. If you weren't trying to make a plan. So they're basically trained to see me when I came to walk up to them. They're trained to see me as a physical threat that if I jostle them enough, they're going to kill me. That's how they roll. And I think, like, I was watching a Ron Paul thing once where he was saying that the whole police thing is even flipped on its head in the aspect of, like, the cops are now basically trained to be the amateurs, and everyone they interact with is supposed to be a professional.
Right.
It's like, if you don't behave in the perfect way, then they have an excuse to defend their life. And that's exactly how, if you really look at the way a lot of these things happen, even in just the manufactured events, propaganda stuff, that's even how they display it, why they shoot somebody. 9 times out of 10, it's like, well, I feared for my life. And it was like, well, you're a cop, so your goal is not to murder everyone. Your goal is to be an officer of the peace and preserve life. And you are literally being trained to do the opposite of that.
Well, that's exactly what's happened with the militarization of the police, as well as the police state, meaning all of these laws being passed by your legislature and by the National Congress. They are making the police this way. And so it's this self-fulfilling prophecy of, we have to be prepared for something that's not a thing. And so by preparing for it, they create the thing that they said they were preparing for, that didn't exist until they prepared for it. And so it's not just like, well, what most of our, or many of our listeners would say, well, if you don't break the law, then you don't have to worry about the police, arresting you or killing you. Well, there's been studies done that says the average person commits 3 felonies, not misdemeanors, not infractions, 3 felonies every single day. And so because the police or the legislatures have created so many laws making every aspect of your life a crime, they're creating basically every scenario into a life and death scenario, both for you as well as for the police. And the police are trained to see everyone in this as a military combatant.
Yeah.
And so it just creates this situation. We've interviewed Eric Moutsos in the past about how he even fears to be pulled over by the police.
Not that we like him.
Well, you always have to just dig stuff in. That's besides the point. Is that police, former and current, are saying, when they're honest, they're saying the same exact thing. This isn't us being anti-police. This isn't saying, this really debunks the lie that says, well, if you're just obeying the law, then you've got nothing to fear. Where they're trained. You learn this even in traffic school, that a cop just has to follow you long enough to find some reason to pull you over, because there are so many laws that you will break them eventually, and they don't have to follow you that long before they find a reason to pull you over if they want to create that scenario. So yeah, it's not being anti-cop. It's saying that we have a serious problem with our legislature and the way that cops are trained, that are creating this scenario where they are militarized and they're trained to see you the same way that our military sees the Afghanis or Iraqis.
Yeah, and we don't want to fall into the trap of all these cops got all this bad training, so we need to federalize them.
Right.
Because that's a popular.
Cops are too much power.
Propaganda.
Let's give them more power. I mean, it's just so stupid.
In reality, the police department of police shouldn't exist.
Local police. It should be only the sheriff's department.
Only sheriffs.
Even though this is a video of the sheriff's department, but there's a
Yeah.
whole level of things that have gone on to bring us to the situation that we're in.
But not that the sheriffs are really doing anything great either.
Well, that's something
but at least that's
it's kind of the bottom line is when you're told that your sheriff is a constitutional sheriff.
Don't worry, he's not.
Don't worry.
It's a lie.
There needs to be evidence behind, I support the Constitution. You need to see them actively working to arrest local officials or state officials or federal officials that are in their jurisdiction breaking the law. Do we see any of that happening in the state of Utah right now? No, you don't. All of these sheriffs, especially Utah County Sheriff, we know for a fact has received affidavits proving elected officials in the county are committing crimes such as terrorism, and the sheriff's department refuses to go after them. Whereas you have other people like the Cromars that are simply living their life, and they have the entire force of government coming down on them as if they were the next Osama bin Laden.
Because the IRS said so.
Right. Without any due process, courts, or anything. So you just need, that's the bottom line, is you need to not just take them for their word. You need to see the training that's going on. You need to see what they're seeing you as, because the question is, which one of your neighbors are they being trained to kill? That's exactly what we're seeing going on right now.
Seems like all of them that aren't conspirators.
If you like what we do, if you want to be part of a community, you want to be part of a movement that is big enough to be able to actually turn the tide, restore freedom, go on the offense, go to defendingutah.org and become a member today. Click on the subscribe tab, the subscribe button, and click that bell to make sure you're getting notified for future videos. And I am Ben McClintock with defendingutah.org, here in studio with Micah Turner. Until next time.